Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Laqad khalaqna al-insana fi ahsani taqweem. Thumma radadnahu asfala safilin. We have indeed created man in the best of shape, or the best of molds. Then we revert him to the lowest of the low. Except those who believe and do good deeds, then they will have a reward without ceasing. Now this talks about the condition of the human being, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created him in the best taqweem, the best setup, the best form, the best shape, the best organization, the best reshaping, the best reformation, the best of everything. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created the human being basically with more potential and more ability than anything else in his creation. Some people refer to it as the crown of creation. But as-salah safilin. As-safalawal is the first rank. So there's another thing about this. As-sal also in rank and punishment means the bottom, the deepest, the lowest. So that means the human being has certain potential. If he realizes some of his potential for good, he rises higher than an angel. Of course, in Islam, we believe that the human being has more potential than the angel. The angel doesn't sin, the angel doesn't make mistakes. But the angel is just programmed to hymn the praises of Allah. Now, Adam, or the human being, he has to struggle because he was sent here on this earth for the condition of struggle, so that he can eventually get back to that heavenly condition. And the human being, he didn't even know a whole lot about Shaitan. So Allah sent him divine guidance so that he would have the ability to challenge and to overcome Shaitan. But with that high ability to emerge or to rise above the angelic reality, the human being can sink to the lowest of the low. And when you look around the earth, you can see it everywhere. Because even if we're watching the series on Vietnam, if we watch the news, we see unnecessary wholesale slaughter of human beings. No reason for it. There's no reason for it. There's no species in creation that uses its highest abilities to murder and kill, mainly its own species. The brown bears do not have an international strategy that all over the world, wherever brown bears are, that they will pass the word on that they got to get rid of all the black bears. They got to get rid of them. They must. For what reason? There's no reason. They're black bears and we're brown bears. It's good enough. What else you want? You know? But the human being, just think about it. when I was younger, even pre-teen and after teen, I watched a lot of TV. Always, those days they had all the war pictures, you know, World War II, and all the World War I, too, they had movies about. And I noticed something, like if you looked at America, 1914, it was almost, except for a few cars, almost looked like the 18th century or the 19th century. But 4 years later, after World War II and World War I, shoot, they got planes and they put machine guns on them. And at first the machine gun would shoot the propeller off. So they had to fix it so it had a rhythm to shoot between. Can you imagine? It's pretty good. They had dirigibles. Before, the Wright brothers had just flew that, whatever it was, a little flying carpet, a couple of blocks. You know, after World War I, the next few years, they're doing airmail. World War II come in, and they got a few planes that could fly pretty good. I think they had a B-17. By the end of the war, they had the Super Fortress, the B-29. The Germans had developed jet planes. They had the atomic bomb. From the beginning of the war to the end of the war for America, 4 years, it's a whole different world. So war, man makes his biggest progress during war. Because he developed war material, then after that he uses it for civilian stuff. But he uses for war first. First is science, generally, is used for destruction, generally, before it's used to save people. So anyway, I just wanted to read that to say that we have indeed created man in the best shape. Then we revert him to the lowest of the low, except those who believe and do good deeds. Then they will have a reward without ceasing. So that's the human being, all that potential. Okay, here we go. Or you believe, fear Allah, and always say a word directed to the right, that He may make your conduct whole and sound, and forgive you your sins. He who obeys Allah and His Messenger has already attained a high state. We must not only speak the truth as far as we know it, but we must always try to hit the right point. We must not speak unseasonably, and when we do speak, we must not beat around the bush, but go straight to that which is right in deed as well as in word. Then Allah will make our conduct right, cure our defects, and there may be our knowledge and character also. Just by saying the right thing, you begin to do the right thing, and it will correct your behavior and your character. O my sons, go and inquire about Joseph and his brother, and never give up hope of Allah's soothing mercy. Truly, no one despairs of Allah's soothing mercy except those who have no faith. Jacob ignores and forgives the sting and malice in the speech of his sons, and like a true prophet of Allah, still wishes them well, gives them sound advice, and sends them on an errand, which is to open their eyes to the wonderful ways and providence as much as it will bring consolation to his own distressed soul. He asked them to go again in search of Joseph and Benjamin. Perhaps by now he had an idea that they might be together in Egypt. In other words, this is saying, "O my sons, go and inquire about Joseph and his brother." This is a long time in the past. We don't know. At least around 20 years. And they saying, man, this guy is talking about going to check on Joseph, you know, and that was. Man, we threw him down the well. He was a kid. Shoot. You know, when we got that little few bucks, miserable price. And as the Quran says about Joseph, the brothers, like most fools, they don't consider their kind as very valuable. So they thought Joseph was nothing, you know, just like Negroes do each other. Never give up hope of Allah's soothing mercy. Truly no one despairs of Allah's soothing mercy except those who have no faith. This is a good ayat for us 25, 30 years on back. That no matter what challenges you face, no matter what obstacles you come up against, no matter how the people act, never give up hope of Allah's soothing mercy. But then it says those who give up hope of Allah's soothing mercy, they don't have no faith. In those days, you know, when you're younger, you're just a player. As you do this stuff over and over again, it becomes habit forming. You don't have to even remind yourself, oh, go and ask about Joseph or anything. You do what's right automatically. That's minor and As-Sabiqun. Then when they came back into Joseph's presence, they said, "O exalted one, distress has seized us and our family. We have now brought but scanty capital. So pay us full measure and pray thee, we pray thee, and treat it as charity to us. For Allah doth reward the charitable." He said, "Know ye how you dealt with Joseph and his brother, not knowing what you were doing?" In other words, the other ayah said, the shaitan slipped up on y'all, that's all. In the old days, you look at all the old Negro movies from the 40s, you know, we had a movie industry, people don't realize it. When they show a guy going astray, or a woman going from the country to a town and working in a tavern and little pimping and stuff go on, they always show that it's a devil whispering to her to get her to do it. And they got an angelic type person with a big white gown on saying, "No, do the good stuff, don't do that." Then they got the old devil, the Negro devil, telling her to party, and those old movies are good. He said, "Know ye how you dealt with Joseph and his brother, not knowing what you were doing?" They said, "Art thou indeed Joseph?" He said, "I am Joseph. I am Musa, and this is my brother. Allah has indeed been gracious to us." Now, when you look at the stuff, Yusuf was thrown down the well, left for dead, got a few bucks off of him, and this guy in the well lay, pick him up. And he got a good job there for a while with Aziz. Then the girls get to acting funny, and he go to the penitentiary. And he's there for a long time. And even when he's hooking up with a guy, a couple of them together, one gonna go out the back door, the other one gonna go out the front door. Hey man, remember me with your Lord. So he forgot till it was necessary. Hey, that's a guy that can interpret that. Well, where's he at? You know, remember the king, he just laying down, he said, I saw 7 fat cows go in the Nile and 7 skinny ones come out. The big boys said, man, that's a confused medley there. That ain't, we don't know nothing about that. They didn't even try, you know, where you try to fool the king like you a party minister. They said, no, we ain't got nothing. So they said, we'll send. So they got Joseph and he hooked it up. So well, you can go on. I said, I ain't going, just to check on the girls first. Can you imagine? He got a parole right away. And we're going to put you over the storehouse because you know what it means. You know, nobody else know what it means. And he says, check on the girls first. I'm coming out with a clear record on this. I ain't coming out just, I'm glad to be home and everybody. You know, I want a clear record on this. Sometimes you have to do that. When everybody working and acting funny, you say, okay, we're going to get a clear record on this. We're going to straighten all of this out. Are you indeed, Joseph? Allah has indeed been gracious to us. Behold, he that is righteous and patient never will Allah suffer the reward to be lost of those who do right. So remember, we're going through certain changes here. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying to us clearly, do right under all circumstances, because right and righteousness will solve all the problems. You just do right. Oh, it look like you're going to lose something? You ain't going to lose nothing. If you give something away and it's a good deed, and everybody laughing because you ain't got no money now, they just laugh, don't worry about it, you'll be broke 2-3 days. That's about it. You got a windfall coming. You got something coming that's going to quadruple or trillionize that. They said, by Allah, indeed, Allah has preferred thee above us, and certainly we have been guilty of sin. He said, this day, let no reproach be cast on you. Allah will forgive you, and He is most merciful of those who show mercy. It is a commentary. Joseph is most generous. He is glad that they have at last seen the significance of what happened. But he will not allow them at this great moment of reconciliation to dwell on their conduct with reproaches against themselves. There's more urgent work to do. In other words, the whole world is still starving. Egypt's on the place. There's a lot of work to do. So, Yusuf is saying no reproach, and don't be reproaching yourself because you acted a fool. Does the shaitan got you hooked up? It ain't no big deal. You know what? All the books, everything we run across, say the shaitan generally have a field day with humanity. So just because you get caught up with not paying no attention, welcome aboard. Everybody else is on that same boat. So you can't stand in the mirror, you fool, you let shaitan mess you up, man. Shaitan slipped up on you, he made you a fool, and you still a fool, you're gonna always be a fool. Well, they'll say don't worry about it.
Hey, Musa, the ayah you read before that,
Right.
what number was that? When he asked about Well, Yaqub said, go and inquire about Joseph and his brother. What ayah was that?
No, that's 1287.
87?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Now remember, Joseph, no matter what happened to him, he's glad, he's happy about all of this. Tafweed, turning over his affairs to Allah. In Rida, you can see it all through that. He's happy with whatever happened. Hey man, I'm glad about all this. Allah been generous to us. That's the difference between doing right and just cruising. That no matter what happens, this tafweed kicks in, turning over your affairs and management of your life to Allah, and then Rida. All the stuff that He gives you is Rida. All of it is good. Okay, here's what He says as we move along. O my Lord, Thou hast indeed bestowed on me some power and taught me something of the interpretation of dreams and events. We're going to get into a few things in a while that deal with interpretation of events and historical processes. Either they're right or wrong. O Thou Creator of the heavens and the earth, Thou art my protector in the world and in the hereafter. Take Thou my soul at death as one submitting to Thy will as a Muslim, and unite me with the righteous. Commentary says, then he turns to Allah in prayer, and again his modesty is predominant. He held supreme power under the king, but he calls it some power or authority. His reading of events and dreams has saved millions of lives in the great Egyptian famine, yet he refers to it as something of the interpretation of dreams and events. And he takes no credit to himself. All this, he says, was Thy gift, O Allah, for such things can only come from the Creator of the heavens and the earth. Being realistic, if we look at the world which we live in, right? In America, things are going bad and things are looking bad. And the wars itself is unbelievable. This is one of the old things that I keep around. Protracted struggle. Step 1, destabilizing. Step 2, temporary transformation. That's when Iman takes over. Step 3, organizing unity of opposition. Semi-consolidation. Step 4, regional vision. Step 5, victory. This is a long process. This is, I can see from the back, I can see it was 4/11. It was 2011, April 16th, 2011. The historical process, the events were not there for this to happen. Ikhwan has not taken power yet. And we saying it won't be no Arab Spring, don't take no power, and we're saying it every week. But they took power anyway. But the reason for regional victory, a regional vision was not there. So as time went on, with the constant invasions, later on, 3 years later, we had Yemen. Of course, we had Bahrain around that time. But even more than that, we have a strategic alliance of Syria, Iraq, Iran, and Russia. And you would say around that time, well, we done lost Libya, we done lost Afghanistan, we done lost this, that, and the other. But no. What we're saying is that there will be a regional vision. That goes back to, this is the way I'm interpreting what I'm reading here. O my Lord, thou hast indeed bestowed on me some power and taught me something of the interpretation, and I'll say dreams and events. Just the events that happen. We'd already told the people 5 years before that everything that's going on now will be events driven. The power in doing things as well as the power in intellect, forecasts, and plans. Both must look to Allah, otherwise the deed and the plan would be futile. Joseph's prayer may be analyzed thus. Number one, I am nothing. All power and knowledge are Allah's. 2, such things can only come from thee, for thou art the creator of all. Number 3, none can protect me from danger and wrong, but only you. Number 4, the protection I need both in this world and the next. 5, may I till death remain constant with thee. 6, may I yield up my soul to thee in cheerful submission to thy will. And 7, in this moment of union with my family after many partings, let me think of the final union with the great spiritual family of the righteous. Now this is, Yusuf is on the ball here by the analysis that Yusuf Ali is making. First of all, Allah, everything comes from Allah. The next, stuff like this can happen only if the creator of the universe is allowing it to happen. It's the only way it can happen. No one can protect you from all of these fitnas because you don't have the ability. You don't even know. If this is 10,000 fitnas, you don't know about 15. You think you know everything, but you just know 15 fitnas. You know. This is Yusuf's idea. Such is one of the stories of what happened unseen, which we revealed by inspiration unto thee, nor wast thou present with them when they concerted their plans together in the process of weaving their plots. So this is Allah saying to the Prophet ﷺ and telling everybody he wasn't there when all this stuff was going on. Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. How you know all of this stuff? Unless Allah told him this story. He wasn't a reader, he wasn't a writer, he wasn't a Christian to get some hints of it from the Bible, right? Or Waraka, the Christian guy. So he let out the story better than the Torah does. Because there's a few things in the Quran that gets Joseph off, it clears him. Because you remember when the Quran says, when he ran and quote Bible and Quran says, tore his shirt. But he said, and look, was his shirt torn from the back. One of the guys that was there that knew what's going on. You said, just look at him and see with his shirt torn from the front or the back. If he was torn from the front, he was trying to rape her and knock her over, simple as that. And she was fighting him off. If it's torn from the back, he was trying to get out of Dodge, and she was in behind him, pulling at his clothes. So Allah cleared him of it. But the Aziz has got it wide, big head, man. It's got technically to stay. Well, you got to do a little time. This is just the way it goes. But that's where Allah wanted him. That's where Allah wanted him. Okay. Yet no faith will the greater part of mankind have, however ardently thou dost desire, and no reward dost thou ask of them, for this is no less than a message for all creatures. I'm going to keep speeding up. And how many signs in the heavens and the earth do they pass by, yet they turn their faces away from them. And most of them believe not in Allah without associating partners with Him. Do they then feel secure from the coming against them of the covering veil of the wrath of Allah, or the coming against them of the final hour, all of a sudden, while they perceive it not? Say, this is my way, I do invite unto Allah on evidence clear as the seeing with one's own eyes. And whoever follows me, glory to Allah, and never will I join gods with Allah. Nor did we send a prophet, but we sent a prophet as a messenger, you know. Respite will be granted until the messengers give up hope of their people and come to think that they were treated as liars. There reaches them our help, and those whom we call are delivered into safety, but never will be warded off our punishment from those who are in sin. There is in these stories instructions for men endowed with understanding. It is not a tale invented, but a confirmation of what we sent before it, a detailed exposition of all things, and a guide and a mercy to any as believe. Okay, so this is the Quran. This is clearly what it is. It's a guidance and a mercy